And we're live here with Deborah from Anada Spa, British Sauna Society's Aufguss team lead. And we are today going to learn about what is this amazing thing called Aufguss and learn a little bit about your kind of journey. So firstly, tell us about Anada and what you do. And then, of course, we're here to learn about Aufguss.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for having me. My business, Anada Spa and Wellness, started actually just before COVID. My background is in spa. So the business started off being a very natural, nature-based, treatment-led business with in-treatment room for therapists. But actually, it was actually my sort of new passion and love of sauna that made that business grow and evolve. And we've really embraced the sauna part of that, and that's really the key part of the business that we do now. And that led me on to obviously the Aufguss and then the Sauna Society as well.
Excellent. So tell me how you discovered sauna, because obviously we've all got our own little sort of journey of discovery, but give us yours. How did you find out about proper sauna and what was that like? Yeah,
no, that's really interesting that you say proper sauna as well, because I've obviously worked in the spa industry for like about 125 years. But yeah, so, in that industry, obviously we have a lot of amazing saunas within those facilities that just don't get used because I think from a cultural point of view, it's seen very much as an endurance test. And, quite often through my years of being a spa manager, they just weren't getting used. And I think it was a little bit of frustration that led me looking for what else can we do with these facilities? And also personally, from my point of view, I'm quite into sort of wellness and natural experiences and really sort of enhancing my own health and hopefully longevity on this planet as well. And that's really what made me look a little bit more into sort of Europe, the rest of the world, what they doing, how are they using their facilities? Not just their saunas, but also how are they sparring, what are guests expecting to see and receive? And that was really when I sort of opened the Pandora's box for sauna, and seen these amazing rituals and cultures that are embraced. And it was a bit for myself, I was like, hang on a minute, we are missing out on something fantastic here. And as I say, it just opened a Pandora's box. And the more I started to look, the more I wanted to see. And the more I seen that this country was doing this fantastic thing and then that fantastic thing. And it's just kind of really grown from there.
Yeah. Is there a seminal trip? Did you go out, spent time out in Germany or the Nordics? And, we've all got those kind of stories of maybe going into a German sauna and being like, what am I supposed to do? Was it a similar experience for yourself?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the first time I really experienced sauna, pure sauna, as they might say. And Aufguss was, I was invited out to the Czech Republic for their national Aufguss championships. And like a true Brit, turned up, with my swimming costume on, my towel wrapped around me really hard, and then got in there and realised, hang on, nobody's got any clothes on. So there was the stepping outside the comfort zone. Yeah. But actually, my very first Aufguss experience just blew me away. I actually found it quite emotional.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Just that I was just so immersed in that experience that not only did that 15 minutes just go by in a heartbeat, I was just, I need to do this. Is just amazing. So for me, that was something I'll never forget. It was it was a core memory now for me.
Yeah. Wow. So did that exist before your business, Anada, or were you working as a spa manager at the time? Sort of talk us a little bit through that journey and how you've ended up doing what you're doing today. Yeah,
it kind of came hand in hand, really. So as the Anada business was growing, as I say, it was all treatment led, but it's very much nature led, but all very authentic to the UK, so we have a meadow therapy, we do a river therapy, coastal, forest, and it was really that nature side of it that I was intrigued a bit about the sauna as well, obviously, because we're bringing a lot of branches and whisks and things like that into it. So that kind of opened a little bit of a door and I kind of went down that way. But the more I started to learn about sauna and how actually not only is it a natural experience, but it's that authentic wellness that you get from it as well, which is what I want to deliver with the hands-on treatments. That I thought, hang on, this is kind of hand in glove, really.
Great. And so you went out to Europe. Was that as part of Anada, or were you working for a spa at the time?
No, it was myself.
Yeah,
it was through myself.
Wow.
So it was as I started to learn to become a sauna master myself, with lovely Mr. Lei Pang Ong. He invited me out there because I'd never really experienced authentic Aufguss in a big sort of event sauna. That was what led out there, more just for an experience really, and a kind of a little bit of a holiday, a long weekend in Prague as well. I was like, yeah, we'll do that. It was that experience really that just sort of lit a fire within me, and we've kind of gone from there.
So how did you meet Lei Pang, and how did you lift that lid then? So were you just sat bored one day sort of Googling like, what is this Aufguss thing, or...
Yeah, do you know, it was a little bit like that. It was the good old internet, and Google takes you down rabbit holes, doesn't it? You look for something, then 3 hours later you're looking for something else. How did that happen?
Everyone can relate to that.
Yeah. And really that's what it was. It was like, right, what are these European spa experiences? What do they look like? And you start off looking at this, and then I kind of went, what's sauna? What do they offer in this country, in that country? And I spent about 3 hours looking on YouTube at Aufguss rituals and sauna rituals. Wow. And kind of thought, I think I want to learn that. That looks really cool. So again, the good old internet, I found Pang and just got in touch with him. I just dropped in an email. I said, I live in the UK. I'm interested in learning a little bit about sauna. Can you help me? And he got back in touch. We had some chats. And he's just the most wonderful guy that just shares all his knowledge from his heart. And you can't help but just love him and want to learn more from him. And then we had COVID.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. So it meant that most of my initial practice as a sauna master was done in my dining room, sort of waving towels around. Yeah, waving towels around. So in lockdown, when everyone's baking banana bread, I was waving towels around, smashing lamps in my dining room.
Did you have any volunteers as stand-in sauna bathers? Did you get the kids or the husband to...
No, they all thought I was cracking. And our dining room, you have to pass our dining room to get our front door as well. So there was a few times the postman came past like, whoa, what is that woman doing in there?
Just fanning out with towels. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. So what's Lei Pang's role in all of this? And for the benefit of our viewers who might not know, give us an idiot's guide to what Aufguss is and why perhaps you were waving towels around in your front room.
Not just because I was crackers.
Not just because you were crackers.
So Aufguss is, obviously it's a sauna ritual. Aufguss is a German word that means infusion. And Aufguss can be interpreted in many different ways, but essentially it's a ritual that infuses together the amazing steam that you get in the sauna with essential oils and aromas. And then the sauna master takes the guests on a journey that usually lasts between about 10 and 15 minutes and distributes and sort of uses towels and fans and things to distribute that air around the sauna so that the guests get not just the well-being benefits of the heat, but also the benefits of the essential oils and infusions and things like that as well. So it can be done very much on a one-to-one basis, where it can be very relaxing, quite meditative, where we can incorporate things like sound bowls and breathing and wonderful things like that, all the way through to sort of what we call show Aufguss, which can be done in these fantastic sort of theatres that hold up to 300 people.
Wow.
And they turn into shows. So they're done to music, to lights. They'll have a theme that the Aufguss master will create, literally a show around the theme.
Yeah.
And also you'll still get the amazing benefits of the heat, which is obviously one of the parts of the ritual. But the aromas and things like that as well. So
great.
Yeah, it's quite a diverse genre of sauna, if you like.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I love about that on a day-to-day basis you can do it as a very one-to-one basis, but you can also have the Las Vegas all singing, all dancing, up in lights shows as well.
And for the benefit of the listeners, these kind of saunas we're talking about, often referred to as exhibition saunas. I was talking to a friend at our little summer solstice gathering recently. I was talking about the World Championships out in, was it Germany this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had live music. Last year's one. Yeah, last year's one had live music with like this big kind of screen which this curtain drew, and then there was a band, and there was even drummers inside the sauna.
Yeah. One of the competitions I was at this year, there was a guy in there playing an electric guitar as part of the ritual as well. Yeah, it's, anything goes. Well, not anything, but it's like as far as creativity is concerned, world is your oyster. But yeah, and that was one of the things when I got involved that I didn't realise this is actually a competition as well, and it's a huge competition that's really embraced, not just in Europe but around the world. We've got Japan is part of that, and then Canada will be joining, and Estonia this year as well. So it's growing in popularity, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and so you reached out to Leipang, and are they the International Aufguss Association, or is it sort of, obviously there's going to be national bodies for these sorts of things, but give us an overview of what that landscape looks like and the events that they run.
Yeah, so Leipang has been within the sort of the Aufguss family or community, if you like, I think for quite a few years now. So he's based in Copenhagen, and he started off as an Aufguss master, and I think for 6 years running he was the Danish champion.
Wow.
And that's how he started his journey, and then got involved in the Danish Sauna Association, and then involved in what they call Aufguss VM, which started off in Germany, but it's like you say, it's the governing body that sets a standard now globally for Aufguss on a competition level, but also helps to host these competitions. So each year the nationals will be held in each country, and then the finalists will go through to a national competition, which is in Germany this year. But it was essentially started for the Aufguss masters as a way of celebrating their skills, getting them together for a little bit of fun, and it's very much like that now. It's great, although it is a competition. It's one of the friendliest competitions I've ever been to. They're so supportive and so inclusive that it's there's none of the, obviously there's competitiveness, but it's done in a very polite and family and welcoming environment, which is just amazing.
So how does somebody win an Aufguss competition?
Yeah, what are you being judged on?
Oh, lots. Yeah. Actually, a lot more than I thought until I did the training myself. So from a competition point of view, we're looking at all aspects. So we're looking not only at the theme, but also the elements of the theme. So what is your music? What's your props? What emotion are you bringing from that as well? But we're also looking at the aromas. Can we smell the aromas? We're expecting to have at least 3 aromas within that performance. How can we smell them? The heat as well. We're looking, obviously it's a sauna ritual, so what we'd like to see is a really nice steady increase in heat, and how does the sauna master then distribute that heat? So they have to be real masters of that, as well as just being able to go in there. And then there's also the show element as well, of all these amazing towel techniques that these guys can do. So there's quite a lot to it, and all the elements have different points, and then obviously the more points you get, the higher obviously your score is.
Great. So, from your experience of Aufguss, is there a particular technique or a particular scent, for example, that you prefer? I'm just trying to get some inside judges' tips for anyone who might find you on the judging panel.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think from a towel technique point of view, I think generally, not just me, we're looking for the classic techniques. So in Aufguss, really what we want to do is distribute the air. So there's certain techniques that we call classic techniques that really distribute the air really effectively.
Yeah.
So as a guest, you want to have that lovely warm feel of air on you, but it's a show, so we want to see these fantastic throws. The flare, the throws, the catches. So it's a balance of both, really, from having an authentic sauna experience, but also that show. And with regards to aromas, I don't particularly have a favourite, but what I like is a difference between the aromas as well, so that you can have something that is potentially very sort of citrusy to very flowery, and then, you know, maybe quite spicy to finish. That real range, to show that range in the sauna, which sounds quite simple, is actually quite hard, particularly when you're working with aromatherapy oils and essential oils, because they all behave differently in the heat, and that shows a real craft as well, and that depth of knowledge that the Aufguss master or the sauna master has to have to be able to create that. So it takes so much to put these shows together. I mean, like literally hours and hours and hours.
It's theatre, right? But it's multi-sensory, you know. It's
4D theatre.
4D
definitely.
Yeah, 5 if you include the heat aspect.
Absolutely. And I was lucky enough to be invited to Japan this year. This is their second year as part of the Aufguss international community, and they have just embraced Aufguss in an amazing way. I think they had something like 140 participants in their nationals, so they actually had to have regional competitions this year, which was fantastic. But their Aufguss masters have really embraced the theatre of it, but also they've really taken on that sort of pride in what they're doing, and you know, the practice. These guys are literally practicing 3 hours every day, and it's a bit like sports, isn't it? You can't put on a pair of trainers and expect to run a marathon, and it's a bit like that with Aufguss as well.
I often feel like you know, we champion the fact that the British are quite open to lots of different cultures, and you look at you know, our taste on the cuisine stage, and various kind of arts and sports inherited from other cultures. But whenever you look at Japan, they are so fanatically, they take it from zero, where it's like an emerging thing, to just immediately to connoisseurship and become like dedicated champions of...
when you were out there, did you see Sauna Ikigai, the app that the Japanese are using to review saunas and sauna experiences?
Amazing, isn't it? And the guys live streamed, I don't know if you've seen the championships, so you could go on to YouTube and watch, and they were getting like 4,000 people watching these. And I mean, every competition you go to is full, the saunas are full to capacity. But then to have another 4,000 people to watch it live is just incredible. Fantastic. And the standards, I mean, every single competitor got enough points to go to the World Cup.
Great.
Every single one.
Wow.
Yeah, their standards are amazing, and some of the towel techniques are just another level. You know, one of the Aufguss masters, I asked him after, I said, show me that move again. It was so quick. I was like, no, you'll have to slow it right down. Even when you show me right in front of my face, I still can't
this is
get
where
it.
You're going to need the high-speed cameras and instant replays.
Yeah, definitely.
That's excellent. So tell us what's happening in the UK right now, because obviously you're involved not just as a judge, but as the team lead for the British Sauna Society. I was lucky enough to attend the UK finals earlier this year, and essentially see and meet the contestants who are going to go on and represent Team GB. So it's a fledgling movement, but seemingly one getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was the first year that we've had an Aufguss Championships in the UK, which was just amazing, and it was a huge achievement to sort of get that across the line for the first year. You know, I think it's something that had kind of been talked about and played with for a few years, but with the support, again, like I said, from Aufguss VM and all the other nations, we managed to get the competition together, and we were lucky enough again to have the support from all the BSS, the British Sauna Society, and Rudden Park to host this event. So it was fantastic. It was so well received. The guests loved it, because most of the guests didn't know what a sauna ritual was, let alone Aufguss. It's like, what did we do? What happens?
It's the day visitors that were there that weren't anticipated. So, you know, I was at the time, remember thinking, it's not been that well promoted. I wonder how many people will be there, right? It was packed. It was absolutely packed, and it was packed to, considering that these people, a lot of them hadn't tried Aufguss before, you know, like sardines, right? But the day visitors going like, what's going on here? But I'm in. I want to have I don't know whether the British thing of like seeing a queue and being like, I wonder what they're queuing for. I should probably join that queue as well. You know, people.
But it's going to be good.
I bet. Look, there's a lot of people like this thing, so we better go and try this out. But
Does that mean that you noticed throughout the course of the time that a load of people warming up to it? Like, we love seeing our friends who haven't tried sauna, their kind of journey of discovery. So to be on the judging panel and then witnessing like people just
learning about
eureka moments.
Yes, absolutely, and it was amazing. I mean, for us as well as the British Sauna Society and Rudden Park, it was a bit like, right, this is the first time we've done this. It's a very, we're going to learn on the job, so to speak, and for the participants, and for the guests, because like you said, a lot of people didn't even know what Aufguss was. And the first so the competition was over 2 days. We had the UK participants, and then we invited 2 really experienced Aufguss masters over from the Czech Republic, Eliška and Robert, to help sort of support and mentor the Aufguss masters, and they were amazing. And they did some Aufguss shows as well while they were there. But the first morning, it was really interesting because, like you say, you got a few people sort of looking through the window like, what's going on in there, and a few people wearing the sauna hats. By the very last one on the second day, I think everybody in the sauna had a sauna hat on, which was, 2 weeks before that, people had been like, look at those with the sauna. What are they wearing in there? And usually when I spoke to the guys at Rudden Park, we were like, well, we'll get about 25 people in the sauna. We had 40 people in the sauna, like literally, like you say, like sardines.
And they were having to turn people away, right?
Yeah, which is very un-British, sitting like that. But it was amazing, and everybody came out with beaming smiles and just loved it. And Sarah, who's the spa director there, she said the feedback they had was just fantastic. And they offer Aufguss as part of their spa days, and have said that they're so well attended now because people know they've had it, they've experienced it, and come back. So it was, for us, it was great because it starts that ball rolling and it gets people talking about it.
It does, and actually the family that run Rudden Park share a similar sort of journey of discovery to yourselves. I think it's sort of 10 years ago they'd spent time out in the Alps at Aufguss saunas and gone, this is really different. And it's that thing of, it's bringing people in, and what I particularly like about it, I mean, we've always been big fans of traditional Finnish sauna and all kinds of thermal bathing, but the thing that really I like about what's going on in the Aufguss space is yes, there's a theatre element of it, which is it's a novelty. It's it's an endurance event, because anybody who's tried to do any kind of workout in a sauna, like, you see people going in there at 80, 90 degrees, right? And anybody who's been in there knows that it's already hard just sitting in there. Like, it's not you're not, in most cases, you're not forcing yourself to stay, and you can leave if you need to, but you're looking at these people who are doing a full workout, and you're thinking, gee, it's not just the theatre of it, but it's the theatre of it and doing what they're doing and keeping it together whilst they're like insanely hot. So but it's the ability to convert a whole group of people to this,
it's like a mass baptism.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
It is. So we're big on like this idea that I mean, everybody knows that thermal bathing and sauna is exploding right now. It's great. We're really lucky to be in this space whilst it's experiencing this renaissance, which is incredible. But one of the things that I often say is, like, if you take a group of people to a proper Finnish sauna, then you can enjoy that, and you could probably you can really kind of convert people into the amazing thing which is having a proper sauna. At a ratio of, maybe if you're lucky, 6 people can get in there at once and experience this thing. And in the case of Aufguss, you can kind of bring people around to enjoying sauna experiences rather than just tolerating them in, like, as you said, hundreds of people in these venues. And I think the next steps for this is that, as you've pointed out, is hotels and spas who want to keep that competitive advantage are going to need these wellness journeys to be part of their offering. And that's not just the treatments, although that is a really important part of it. It's in the theatre aspect of the experiences. It's in curated sauna experiences that show people, what to expect and how to enjoy a sauna safely, carefully, enjoyably, and get the most out of it. And a lot of people now have been to these amazing saunas in Europe, and they've tried stuff. I went to a large Aufguss sauna just not too far from the central station in Berlin, and it was incredible. It was just like you've got food and drink on offer that you can buy with a wristband whenever you want. You can relax on lounges. You've got cold plunges. You've got pools, outdoor pools. You've got somewhere in the region of like 10 to 15 saunas in the whole establishment, and half of those might have an Aufguss curated Aufguss experience every half hour. And there was probably, when we went, and it wasn't a particularly special day or anything, there's still thousands of people going there. And that's thousands of people buying food, buying drinks, attending the spa, treating themselves a little bit extra. And I'm confident that the commercial angle of this alone, like, you're talking orders of magnitude more money being created in spa facilities. So there's a huge carrot there for the facilities in the UK who are willing to take the gamble and say, we're going to push this. We're going to try and do what it's already a proven concept on the continent.
Oh, 100%. And, for me, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. It's the gift that we've not taken yet for so many reasons. There's the wellness industry's exploding. And I think not just in the UK, but again, globally, we realise, particularly after COVID, health is wealth, and, taking care of ourselves. And this is a well-being experience, an authentic well-being experience that we have the facilities in these amazing spas for. With the rising cost of electricity, you want to maximise these. You don't want to heat a box for a day and it not get used. And from an operational point of view, we hear a lot, particularly in the spa industry, about, supply and demand with regards to people and therapists. You've got 25 people in a sauna and you've got one sauna master, and these people, like you say, they get hungry and they get thirsty. So it's I
spend a ridiculous amount of money on food and drink after sauna, and I do it because I sort of don't feel like I'm doing something guilt-free. And then these places offer like healthy but delicious food. Somebody's offering you like smoked salmon on rye with some nice sauce and stuff like that. You go, oh, that looks good. How much is that? And they're like, oh yeah, it's just €16. And you're like, okay, you just like sit there and you eat it and go, okay. And then when you come to leave, and they go, yeah, that's so today you've racked up a bill of €120, and you go, well, I'm relaxed. And then you pay and you walk out and you're like, yeah, it was, I treat myself. Yeah, I don't do it that much. And you justify it to yourself afterwards, but you spend a lot more money than you anticipate. But you were properly relaxed, and that you disconnected. Obviously, there's no phones. Obviously, in Germany, there's no clothes as well. Yeah. But it's a relaxed environment, and I think we have our sort of preconceived. All three of us know that there's this kind of preconceived kind of phobia of being in those experiences. But actually, as soon as you walk through those doors and everybody's in it together, it's like, okay, cool. This is super relaxed.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's good as well, particularly for the Aufguss, is there's kind of that safety in numbers. I've seen this quite a few with like groups of people that have gone, it's like, well, I'm not sure. I'll do it if you do it, sort of thing. And then before you know it, you've got a group of 6 in there, and they all enjoy it and they all come out like, well, we would do that again. And one of the things that I always say when I'm delivering an Aufguss is it's not an endurance test. No. There's about a 10-degree difference between the top bench and the bottom bench. And you can leave at any point, and it's not very often actually that you do have people leaving, because it's my responsibility as an Aufguss master to make sure that I'm connected with my guests in there. And if I know I've got a sauna full of people that have never had an Aufguss, I'm not going to pour 2 buckets of water on the sauna in the first round, and I think that's our job as well as sauna masters and as the BSS to educate people so that they do enjoy it, and that people start to talk about sauna more as an enjoyable experience rather than, like I keep saying, an endurance test.
So where can people try Aufguss in the UK right now, if I wanted to go out this weekend, where could I find it?
It's more and more places popping up, which is fantastic. Obviously, Rudden Park offer that as part of their spa offering. There's a lovely spa over in Scarborough that have got a nice Aufguss sauna there that overlooks the sea, which is really nice. Yeah, really lovely. Galgorm Resort in Ireland, they actually have the champion, the UK champion. Pavel works for them.
Brilliant.
And they've got a lovely thermal experiences that overlook the river, which is just beautiful. And then more and more places, obviously, in London, you've got the Hackney Wick.
The Hackney Wick guys,
yeah, they've got it. I mean, it's a much smaller scale, but, it doesn't have to be huge to offer these experiences.
It's a big part of their next site. So we had Charlie on the podcast a few weeks back, and, he sees this exactly as a really important part of, that education experience. And cutting through that phobia of like, are we supposed to pour water, or I think people are really open to learn and to listen, but nobody's, it's like penguins stood on the edge of the ice, right? Everyone's sort of looking at each other going, are you going first? So that's great. So they're popping up everywhere. And let's talk a bit about Pavel and what's coming up later this year, which is really exciting, which is the World Aufguss Championships in Northwest Germany.
Yep.
Go on.
So we've got the Aufguss VM finals, which are in Sauna, which is in Germany. This is the 10th year of Aufguss VM, so Germany being the home, they're having it there. And the sauna there is amazing. It's based, I don't know if you've been, but the architecture of the sauna is of an upside-down Viking ship. So it's like an olive ship. It's amazing sauna. So so that's where the finals will be.
Yeah.
So
that's Bielefeld in Northwest Germany.
Yes.
Anybody who wants a ticket, good luck, because it's fully booked, right?
Yeah, so, and if there's any spares, then
let us know. We will literally, anybody listening to this who's got a ticket and they don't want it, we will buy it off you. Just email me, I will buy it off you for sure.
Definitely. So we've got Pavel, who's representing the UK this year.
So he was the winner at Rudden Park, right?
He was, so he was the winner of that. So like we said before, there's a lot of hard work going into that. He's actually going at the end of this month to Sauna to do some practice in the sauna and work with Robert Zidek, who was the Czech Aufguss master that came over to the UK Championships, because there's so many elements that the guys need to have together for this. They need to have music, they need to have light scripts, they need to know how big the sauna is, because obviously this is a lot bigger than we've got in the UK. So we're really, really excited about that. And then the runner-up of the UK Championships was invited to go to what we call the playoffs, which is almost like a second chance. And that's going to be in Farrisbad in Norway at the very beginning of September. And there's a chance for 4 people there to go through to the final. Nice. So it's like I say, it's like a second chance. And our first UK team will be taking part of that as well. So really exciting, very, very busy times, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of practice and a lot of elements that we need to put together. So it's super busy. We just did a training camp almost last week. Leipan came over with the guys, and we just sort of went through scripts, what aromas we're going to use, a bit of trial and error with regards to practice and routines. So it's really exciting.
That's nice. Incredible. So the next one is the playoffs in Farrisbad. That's Lasse Eriksson Spa.
Yes, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous spa. Amazing sauna there that's right on the beach as well, so you can go and get into the sea afterwards, which
icy
is
cold.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you got Deborah's hot tips inside a kind of ones to watch? Who do you think's going to be on the podium? Have you got any feeling? I mean,
there's got to be some Japanese, right? By the sounds like of it, that they've taken.
Yeah, the standards are just fantastic. But I have to say, the standard across the board is just so high now. You won't go to any sauna Aufguss show and be disappointed, because they're all fantastic. And what I love about this is you'll never get bored with it, because everybody brings their own personality and their own twist and flair on it. So, all the Aufgusses are so different. And it's really interesting to see what each country brings to the party, so to speak, as well, because, you've got like the Polish guys and the Slovenians. They're such big, powerful Aufguss masters that their towel techniques are always amazing. But then, you've got the Italians that are so dramatic, that you really get a show with them. And, quite often everybody's leaving in tears, because it's, so powerful.
That's
and
amazing.
then obviously you've got Marcek, who was the winner last year, his towel techniques are just fantastic, and I think everybody's got high hopes for him again this year. So it's wide. It really is wide open.
I love that, because it's got that kind of creative element that always means that there's going to be the push and drive to develop new things to stand out on the competitive side of things. Where do you see there being kind of logical next steps in terms of maybe interesting fusions, or what new elements people might try and incorporate into their routines? Will we see Aufguss opera sometime soon, do you think?
We may have already seen it at some point, but I think it's evolving quite a lot, in that people are getting more sophisticated with what they're bringing into the sauna. We get some really dedicated sauna masters that are making their own oils and infusions literally from scratch, which is fantastic to see. And the towel techniques, you speak to more of the experienced jury, and they want to see new techniques every year, which we are seeing. And it's nice that we've got this creativity. Like I say, the Japanese guys, some of their towel techniques they've brought in are quite new. And there's also that authenticity from their own culture as well, which is really nice. And I think this is something that the UK can really bring over the next few years, because we've got such a rich history, particularly of storytelling and things like that we'll be able to bring to Aufguss, which will be new, that the Aufguss family won't have seen before, which will be quite exciting. And it's going to see and share all the ideas, things that people saw last year will have sparked an idea in them, and that'll evolve to what we're going to see again this year.
Great. Because I remember, if we rewind right back to the start of the podcast, you said you specialised in bringing that kind of natural element to spa bathing, but also what I found interesting was the English element. So how would you impart something English onto an Aufguss ritual? Like what if you were kind of sat with blue sky planning out a new ritual, where do you think you'd start?
And this is the great thing, the world is your oyster. When we did our introductory Aufguss in Holland, were you in Holland?
No, I wasn't.
Our theme was the four nations, and we picked some different things, some themes from the four nations, and we picked all the oils that were authentically grown and made and produced in the UK, which was really great. But we've got so much that we can use. The guys that are doing the team this year, their theme is around the Queen, and it's a tribute to the Queen, which has been lovely.
Yeah, I saw them do that at Reading Park.
Nice.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, nice to see. But we've got so many things. We've got Druids to Shakespeare to Mary Queen of Scots to every even Bond. Anything that's authentic from the UK or England or Scotland that we can bring.
They're gonna love it.
Even like the Celtic rituals. They love all of this. Yeah. So it's great.
Have we seen a kilt become a sauna towel yet, or is that?
That might be this year.
I'll save that one for the Scots.
I suppose we've got an unfair advantage in that we have thousands of years of history and culture
to pick through, isn't there?
Oh, definitely.
I think, I often think when I see sauna rituals, as you said, your mind starts like buzzing with possibilities, and I've sat there myself going, if I did this, I could do this, and you could, but they've only got 15 minutes, right? That's the other thing is you've got to tell a really interesting story in a short amount of time. Some of the other ones that were at the UK finals, there was a fantastic one which was about Marie Curie. That was really excellent. And then I know in previous winners, they've brought things like I think it was pre-COVID. I think it might have been 2019 or thereabouts. There was a Polish winner. It was a lady who who used some body paint to make her look like her doll. And then I think she's a ballerina originally by trade. So there was a huge element of the way that she moved that made her look like a doll, which was very, very novel. Like a, what do you call them?
Like a puppet.
Like a puppet.
Yeah, I think it was Ashley from
marionette.
Yes,
puppet. Yeah.
Ashley from the Netherlands.
Yeah. Okay,
yes.
From the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad there. So, the movement aspect of it, which is just so so interesting, and then you've got people who are more, as you say, the big guys who are very muscular kind of workout aspect to it. So I think everybody kind of brings a different spin on it, as it were.
Yeah.
Some of the novelties, like things that people were using to carry water to pour on the stones.
Yeah.
That was another one. Was it? They had it sort of reading from a book, and then the book's got water in it. Filming, and the camera's got water in it. So just really, really different.
With the 15-minute limit, do you think there's ever scope to do long format? Obviously, not with people subjected to a really long time in the sauna, but acts. You could maybe split it up into like a 4-act
stages.
You could. You could. You could do it over, an hour, one every 15 minutes for an hour, which is different acts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Excellent. Yeah. So we've got this year we've got Pavel representing Team GB, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a doubles team as well, right?
Yeah. So they're not going to the final; they're just going to the playoffs. So we've got Jenna, Jenna Robinson from Rudden Park, who's there for a single. Her theme was Castaway, which was really good. I'm not sure if you've seen that one. Yeah, really good. She had a little ball in there.
Wilson.
She has a Wilson. She actually has a Wilson that she brought into it with her, and the FedEx boxes and everything as well, which was great. And then Jenna's part of the team with Renato.
Great.
So that's really good fun.
Excellent. And so hopefully in future years we'll have a lot more contestants as this becomes a bigger and bigger thing. Have we got a date in the diary yet for regionals and nationals next year? Do we know where they're going to be? Can we start to look at booking those? Because obviously we need to book early, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's actually something we're working on with the Big SS at the moment, is when we're going to sort of open up it's not bids, what would it be, to like applications or whatever for businesses that want to host next year. We'd be looking at around April next year, and we're open to any business really that's got the infrastructure in place to be able to hold this event. But again, from a participant point of view, we're really hoping that'll grow year on year now, and we're trying to put in place all the training and support to help them grow. And again, for the businesses, hopefully they'll see an opportunity in this as well to bring Aufguss to their business, and then for the guests as well, they'll be able to book and experience these as well.
I mean, it's an easy way to fill a facility with hundreds of guests all paying ticket price plus food plus drinks and everything else. So it's smart. So if you're a hotelier or a spa owner, what do you need to be able to host an Aufguss regional finals or national finals or what have you?
Well, an authentic sauna is obviously a must, with a stove. Because obviously we still see the saunas out there that are
hidden heaters.
And then just the infrastructure to be able to facilitate the people. It's more the people element that's involved in this.
What kind of capacities are you looking for at those kind of events?
With regards to people, it's really how many the sauna will take. I mean, obviously we had Rudden Park, we had 40 in there. But so around that would be great. And the bigger we get, the better. I mean, hopefully in the next few years we'll have an event sauna. As you know, Don Genders from Design for Leisure has offered his services to the first spa, or business I should say, that will build an event sauna. So he would design that for free, which is so exciting. So hopefully we'll get that in the next couple of years as well. And then obviously we've got the Therm Group that we're opening the big place in Manchester as well. So but from a hosting point of view, really we're quite collaborative and hope to open up to as many businesses as possible.
Great.
Excellent.
I really hope someone takes Don up on that offer, because
maybe I'll give him a call after this.
Definitely.
Just the stuff that I think, the boundaries that he's looking to push, it's really gonna take it to that next level.
You've seen of course the Vegas one, which is I don't know how many that's, was it like I'm going to say a wrong number here, but I'm thinking 300 plus people can fit in there?
I don't think it's as big as that. I think it's between 80 and 100.
Okay.
But the facilities, how they've designed it is amazing. Don walked me through how they did it with the lights, because even the lighting in this sauna is what you would see in a small theatre.
Yeah.
And then sound boxes, they've got sound boxes. What? The sauna. And the way it's designed for the sauna master to work around it, it's amazing.
So they have big glass ceilings, or sections that are glass, and then behind that they have these theatre lights,
the movable lighting
which
rigs.
can move around. And then the sound system. I can't remember exactly how much he said, but the price for the sound system in there is well, you could build many tens of saunas for the price of just the sound system in that one.
Yeah, you could probably buy 2 cars.
Yeah, and the rest. Yeah. So it's really great to see that coming, and we're looking forward. I mean, I know there are definitely event saunas already, but I think a purpose-built Aufguss sauna in the UK, probably proximal to somewhere like London or Manchester or one of the big cities will be a huge asset, I think. Certainly give us plenty to keep us busy on weekends and go out and try these cool experiences. Do you think that we'll embrace it in the same way that Europe has, that we'll see this in every single spa? I'd like to hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I really do. And I think it's one of these, it's like a bit of a snowball effect, isn't it? You've got to get that ball rolling and then it'll grow and grow and grow. But yeah, I do. I'm quite confident it will, because I'm seeing so many positive things at grassroots. That's got to come through, hasn't it? And I think as well, from a sort of a future proof for these businesses, you've got to look for the experiences. You look at the younger generation now, they want experiences. They had saunas at Glastonbury this year, which was just amazing. So these guys are going to go to spas and want to see them. And I also think once spas put their business hat on and realise that actually this could be quite a lucrative way to offer a wellness experience, that really it will, and I was chatting to somebody a few weeks ago and they were saying, event sauna, I'm not sure. I was like, no, honestly, build it and they will come, because you see it in Europe, and because it's so successful there, how can it not be successful here?
I think it's again, this is a common theme on the podcast, is this sort of move towards more prescriptive wellness approach as opposed to sort of treating illnesses. People are like, rather than treating this disease that we have, and a lot of the diseases that people are suffering with today are almost either age related or semi self-inflicted through lifestyle choices, and people are the zeitgeist, as it were, is it's hip to be square, that people want to be healthy, they want to live longer, they want to they don't want to wake up feeling exhausted every day, they don't want to feel wiped out, they want to they want to feel like that they can take on the world every day, and that they can overcome difficulties and and be more resilient. And I think that you see on the continent, people are a lot more like, well, if you want that, then don't burn yourself out, and involve wellness in as part of a daily or multi-weekly experience. If you go to I'm often going out to Stuttgart every couple of years for international shows like Interbad, and they've got a place there called Filderado, which is just a leisure complex like you find across Germany, and they've got sort of I guess somewhere in the region of 14, 16 saunas there.
Yeah, it's probably high teens actually if you count it up. There's
and the
full spectrum.
Yeah, and you go there, and the people there are just everyday visitors. This isn't people going, let's go to this thing for an event. They're there going, well, this is just part of what I do, like a couple of times a week, 2 or 3 times a week.
And it's busy on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah. I bet.
This isn't just people going, I hear they're doing Aufguss tonight. It's like, this is.
Let's see what's on. We're
going
down
go
anyway.
there every,
Yeah.
And you find people going to these as part of like during or after work experiences. So they're like, hey, let's go and have a meeting, but like, let's go and have, go and enjoy the sauna, have a relax. We can lie on some lounges. We can talk through these things. We're going to spend a couple of hours in the spa, and I think this openness to embracing a different way of working, maybe sort of maybe the sort of changes in working patterns post-COVID will allow people to say, hey, let's go and discuss this, but let's go and unwind a little bit and see what comes out of us just having a bit of a relax and a bit of a, treat ourselves to some nice food and stuff. So
yeah, definitely. And I also think that because wellness is being embraced, that it's not seen as so extreme anymore.
Yeah.
So I quite often link sauna to like wild swimming. Wild swimming's been around for, however long it's been around. But, a few years ago, that was seen as quite extreme, wasn't it?
You had to be a nutter to
oh, my God, yeah, totally.
And now everybody's...
and now everyone's doing it. And actually, again, from a spa point of view, is anybody that's got a clean body of water are offering open water swimming or wild swimming as part of that, because they see the benefits of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe as a culture, maybe what we're like, that we need to see the benefits. And if we know it's going to do us good, and we'll feel great, we'll look at, we'll be more healthy, we're taking care of ourselves, then we're more likely to do that. And like you say, if that social shift now is a little bit more work-life balance, then why not?
Yeah.
Why not embrace it a bit more?
Yeah, you're completely right. And I think we've seen that sort of across hotels and spas based, for example, in the Lake District. One of their biggest selling offerings to guests was people going wild swimming. And I think and we see with what we do, wild swimming clubs asking about sauna trailers, and it just goes so well hand in hand. So watch this space. So anybody who's interested in learning more about Aufguss, learning more about the British Sauna Society and the team, where do they find out more? How do they get involved if they're interested? Is there a website they should visit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the British Sauna Society, we have our own website there, and there's all sorts of information on there about events, training, education, and then also through my own business, Anada Spa and Wellness, we offer sauna master training and we offer sauna rituals, which again, you can find us on social media and then through our website.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's all we have time for, folks. That's been fantastic. Thanks again for coming on the podcast. This has been great. And I'm really looking forward to watching the Aufguss Championships and seeing how this really grows. So thanks again for coming on.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.